What's up, everybody? This is Double A from Gvng, and I'm going to show you how to create a release at bouncegang.com. Now, once you signed up, created your profile, and selected your plan, you will now be able to release a song, EP, or album on our distribution platform. Here's how. Once you log into your account, you're going to go to Distribution. From here, you'll see the orange tab at the top to create a release. First thing you're going to do is give the release a title. Next, we're going to go through a series of tabs. The first tab is Release Info. Here's where you're going to load your cover art. Be careful to pay attention to the instructions. These requirements are specific. That way, your product will get into the appropriate stores. We do have a quality control process in place to make sure that your release adheres to store requirements. So just of note, your cover art has to be square. It has to meet the minimum maximum size in pixels. It has to meet format requirements. And you have to make sure that the release title coincides with the title on the cover art. As we scroll down, you have the opportunity to insert the appropriate credits from primary artists all the way down to the features, publishers, lyricists, composers, producers. You can add your own label or leave it undefined, as your choice. You can select your primary and secondary genre, select your album language, select whether the lyrics are explicit or not. You can select your album format, single, EP, or album. Just to note, an EP is 4 to 6 songs, 30 minutes max in length, or 1 to 3 songs, with one song being 10 minutes long. If you need a UPC or a reference number, you don't have one, we could create that for you simply by just checking the box here. In your release description, your liner notes, you can add the content based on the release. You can add a write-up, a full-on description, everybody that participated in the project. It's up to you, your choice. Now, once you filled out all this information, you have to make sure that you select Save at the bottom before you continue. Now, because I haven't made any changes yet, there's nothing here. So let me go ahead and just pick a genre so you can see that. We'll just say blues is right there. So now you see the save and cancel buttons populated at the bottom. You have to save before you move on to the next tab, or your work will not be here. So we're going to go to license. And here you can choose your price category. So it's automatically set to mid, but budget, mid, full, and premium options are available. And we can just select more info on price categories if you need clarification. So here you go. Here's a breakdown of what budget, mid, full, and premium looks like across Amazon and iTunes, just for comparison. Now you select your release dates, Spotify windowing, which enables the record to be released 14 days ahead of time. Your license type, 9.9 out of 10 is going to be copyright, but you do have an option for Creative Commons if need be. The license holder will be the legal name of the license holder and the legal name of the copyright for sound recordings. Territories, entire world. Again, once you're done with your changes, you hit save and move on to tab 3. Here's where we upload our tracks. It's important to note that all your tracks need to be in WAV format, 44.1, 24-bit. No MP3s. I'll say it again. It has to be in WAV format, 44.1, 24-bit. No MP3s. Once this stage is complete, you're going to hit save and move on to preview and distribute. Here's where you're going to see your cover art, your ISRC numbers, your track titles, the artists involved, the time. All the information pertaining to the release will be filled here. And once it's good to go, you'll be able to create the release. Right now it says validate the release because there's a lot of things missing. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to take you to a record that has been released so you can actually see what this looks like when it's completely and done correctly. I go back to my catalog and I'm going to show you a record I produced called How You Do It, which is just released 11/20/2020. So you see the release info, the song, How You Do It. Release info is here, cover art, met the requirements, QC approval date. So this was approved by quality control on 11/17. Display artist, it's AA featuring Melissa Jones. As you see, the credits are here. Primary artist featuring composers, publisher, lyricist, and composer. Label, primary genre, secondary genre, language, album format is a single, release UPC code and reference number also been assigned, liner notes, licenses, mid-tier pricing, digital and original release date, license type was copyright, and the license holder. Tracks, now, important note here, it is not possible to add, delete, or sort tracks after the release has been approved for distribution. So you want to make sure when you upload your tracks that there's the correct title, correct order if it's an EP or an album, because once it's approved for distribution, you cannot edit this information. So here's the tracks. Tab 4, preview and distribute. Since this process is already done, you're going to see all the information. Featuring composer information, publisher, lyricist, all the credits for the record. The genres, the release date, label, rights owner, publisher, owner, parental advisory is clean, it's not explicit lyrics, release UPC code, reference number, QC approval date. All the information is here. The ISRC, track title, you even can play the record as well too. So now, remember I told you before, it said validate release. Now I can distribute this release because everything is done. But being that it was already distributed, we're not going to do that again. So now I can go to history. And I probably have about 4 pages of where my song was sent. It'll give you completion time, delivery date, and what time it concluded. Now, one important thing that I didn't say in the beginning, you want to at least have your records submitted at least 2 weeks in advance. You have the QC process to go through, and it gives it the appropriate time to get to all the stores. You don't want to rush release, you want to plan it out. So at least 2 weeks at the bare minimum, that's stretching it. 2 weeks, you want to have your records turned in and submitted if you want to have your release on a certain day. So reverse engineered, if I want to release it on the 1st, I'm going to go 2 weeks prior to that as my D-Day of having all my records and information turned in. So that's right to it. Pretty simple, how to create a release. A few steps, just make sure you follow the process correctly and your record will be distributed globally. Thank you for your time.